Good evening. First tonight, police have stepped up their search for Daniel Morcombe's body in dense bushland on the Sunshine Coast. Teagan George is at the search site where Queensland's leading forensic pathologist has now been called in. Now, Teagan, does this mean there's been a find?
Lexi, speculation is rife that there's been a major breakthrough here in the Glasshouse Mountains on the Sunshine Coast. As you said, Queensland's leading forensic pathologist was called to the search site earlier today. He has since left the site, but we're unsure what this means because in previous cases he's been called in to identify victims. Now, police are continuing their work in dense bushland behind me. They're looking at a dam that's wedged between some pine forest and a macadamia nut plantation. Now, earlier today we saw a truck come through carrying some sandbags. They will obviously be used for around the dam. The terrain is proving to be a big problem for police. They're battling swamp ground, some search areas are underwater, and there's also the dense bushland. So it's going to be a very tough few days for police and indeed for the Morcombe family, who are considering coming to the site tomorrow. It's just a stone's throw from the Bruce Highway at Glasshouse Mountains, the site where police believe Daniel Morcombe could be buried.
I was very surprised, quite shocked actually, that it would have been around here.
A search headquarters has been set up on the outskirts of a macadamia nut plantation at the end of a long and winding dirt road. Police have been scouring the area for several days now. This morning, 30 SES volunteers arrived to help.
It's very peaceful, you don't hear anything.
A truckload of sand arrived this morning to help stabilise the swampy ground. It's difficult work. Some search areas are underwater, others are in dense bushland. The area has flooded numerous times since Daniel disappeared.
Very wet. The creek's come up a couple of times.
Police have taken dogs through neighbouring properties.
They asked me a few questions about how long I've lived here and what I'd seen and heard, if anything.
But residents here say they know nothing. They're shocked that such a terrible crime may have happened so close. Teagan George, 10 News.
Well, Daniel's parents are also in shock. They'd always hoped police would make an arrest, but now that it's happened, they're really struggling. In a heart-wrenching media conference, they thank police and the community for their support, but they know, as do the authorities, there's still a long, hard road ahead.
They've been so incredibly strong, but Daniel's mother couldn't hide her despair today. Trembling and fighting back tears, all she has left is the hope she can give her son a funeral.
He needs to be buried in dignity.
Yeah, he deserves that. And
so do his brothers.
Bruce Morcombe kept a steadying hand on his wife as they faced the media to say thank you.
You're always hopeful, you know. Every day we get up, we were thinking today's the day we find the answer.
Now they have it, they're in shock.
It's a very difficult place Denise and I and the family find ourselves in, which is somewhere that we've worked extremely hard over 7 years and 8 months to be in, and yet when you're there, it's a place you don't want to be.
They also don't want to be in the courtroom tomorrow when Daniel's alleged killer makes his first appearance.
We know who it is, we know what he looks like, and we've already given him the glare. You know, I'm not sure we can do much more.
Incredibly, they say they're not angry.
Human nature is to perhaps be a little angry, but you've just got to ask yourself, is that being helpful or is that a distraction?
For now, they're focusing on the hope Daniel's remains will be found. And they're as determined as ever that Daniel's legacy will live on. In 3 weeks, it's Child Protection Week, and despite what's happened, they'll hit the road in the hope that their education campaign stops this from happening to someone else's child. Strangers are again laying flowers where Daniel was last seen. At the local church, they're praying the family will finally learn the truth.
Lord, we just stand with the Morcombe family.
Like the Morcombes, many here feared they'd never see this headline.
It's good for the family to finally get some closure.
It's been a long time coming, and it's good to see something's finally happened.
Tomorrow has been declared Red Shirt Day for Daniel.
It'd illustrate that Daniel's not forgotten, and so many people are willing us on.
And that helps give the Morcombes the strength to go on. In Palmwoods, Lisa Rolls, 10 News.
Meantime, the parents of the man accused of Daniel's murder have told 10 News their thoughts are with the Morcombe family, but they're appealing to the public to let the justice system run its course. Reporter Matt Neagle spoke to them earlier today.
Lexi, I spoke with the parents of the man charged with Daniel Morcombe's murder this morning. Their shattered faces told a story of personal grief as they come to terms with what has just happened. They did say their hearts have always gone out to the Morcombe family and still do, but they have reminded people that they need to let this judicial process take its course, and their son is innocent until proven guilty. Now, this couple is very well known and very well liked in the community they live in. We just can't reveal to you where that is. But he is a Vietnam veteran and she has worked tirelessly with the RSL and local charity groups. It is another family deep in sorrow.
Matt Neagle reporting there. Now, security will be ramped up as the man charged with Daniel's murder faces the Brisbane court tomorrow. Reporter Leonie Mellor is there. Now, Leonie, just take us through what will actually happen tomorrow.
Well, Lexi, P7 is tonight in the watch house just around the corner. Tomorrow he will be brought to a secure dock here at the Magistrates Court for what will be a relatively brief appearance. The magistrate really only likely to set a date for further mention. He won't enter a plea and he won't be able to apply for bail. To do that, he'll need to make an application to a Supreme Court judge at a later date. Now, security is expected to be much tighter tomorrow. There's sure to be a greater police presence in case crowds gather, given the interest that this has generated, and authorities don't want anything to jeopardise the case.
For nearly 8 years, it's a case that's baffled and horrified police. What happened to Daniel Morcombe? Who took him and what have they done with him? Then a breakthrough.
The charges preferred are murder, deprivation of liberty, child stealing, indecent treatment of a child under 16, and interfering with a corpse.
A man known as P7, a 41-year-old father of 3 from Perth, is now in police custody.
This is obviously a very significant milestone in what has been a complex and protracted investigation.
We can't name the man. He gave evidence during the coronial inquest, an inquest the Morcombes pushed for. It's now been suspended. Bravehearts campaigner and supporter Hetty Johnston broke down last night, her thoughts with Daniel's parents.
And we feel very deeply, but look, I just, like everyone else, just want to give him a big cuddle.
It's a case that's captured the hearts of not only Queensland, but a nation, and it's not over yet. Through it all, police have never given up. The Commissioner and his deputy thanking their officers.
Today's arrest is underpinned by the dedication, tenacity and professionalism of every officer who has worked relentlessly on this investigation for nearly 8 years.
There have been more than 100 of them. 10,000 people have been interviewed, 18,000 police jobs logged, and more than 1,500 mobile phone calls analysed. Commissioner Atkinson also thanked the Morcombe family for their courage and patience.
Despite this breakthrough today, a significant amount of work remains to be done.
Daniel still needs to be found. Leonie Mellor, 10 News.
Tributes, thoughts and prayers for Daniel continue to flow on social media sites. On Facebook, thousands are changing their profile photos to the Daniel Morcombe Foundation symbol. A page set up to honour the search for the teen's body has grown. It has more than 42,000 members now. Parents yearning to take away some of the family's sorrow. Others wishing for Daniel's body to be found.